the next topic that we're going to get into, being that we are talking about the playoffs, is the current playoff picture after everything that happened. I mean, with Alabama going down again, kind of we talked about it, kills their playoff hopes unless a lot of things work in their favor.
Yeah. Tennessee
Um,
picking up that loss to
right,
Georgia.
Tennessee picking up the loss to Georgia. Clemson just
Clemson
got
falling. Yeah.
just I don't
Notre
know
Dame
what
gets them.
happened, and Notre Dame just completely just random out of the field, and it's just a crazy situation. But as far as with everything that's transpired, where do you really see the rankings seating from like one through four? Who do you really see?
Well, it's pretty simple at this point. You know you're gonna get Georgia at number one, the
Right.
clear cut number one. Two and three, you're gonna get the Ohio State and Michigan, and then you'll probably have TCU slotted in there finally in that four spot.
Yeah.
How long these things last will be another story. We obviously know, like we talked about, TCU has a bit of a tough road to stay undefeated. They're probably going to need to stay undefeated to make the playoffs. So we have a few weeks to go to see how that works out. And then obviously we have the huge matchup with Ohio State and Michigan looming last week of the regular season that everyone will be tuned in for. And that'll kind of can potentially knock a team out depending on how it goes. There's been talk of, you know, maybe both of them can still find a way in. Obviously, that will be somewhat of a situation like other teams. They need some help for that to happen. I don't think that's a very easy sell at
Yeah.
this point. But yeah, that should be the clear top four for now. And easily one or two teams could drop out of that mix and allow for other teams in. We have teams like a Tennessee, like we talked about, or maybe some Pac-12 teams. Still a lot to be figured out there. So yeah, look, a lot of chaos. Not surprising when you look at the history of the sport of college
Yeah.
football.
College football in
These
general.
these things kind of up and down. They happen, especially as you get later in the year and it gets closer. Um, but yeah, definitely a interesting week after you see top teams go down. You see other teams that were quality wins for some teams, and they get beat. You see other teams that
Kind of
people
like
beat and
struggle.
they beat the top teams, and it's just sorting it all out is always a bit of a task. But by the end of the year, things should be pretty
More
cut and
cemented.
dry. Yeah, and usually if there's any debate, it's usually over the last spot or so.
Right.
But yeah, otherwise most things should figure itself out. And like we talked about, we're pretty set up to get a Georgia, one of the two at least of Ohio State and Michigan, and then we see from there from options with TCU, a Pac-12 championship if you get a one-loss one, or have maybe a Tennessee step in or something like that late. Um, but yeah, I mean, we talking about these teams kind of falling off and taking these losses, kind of putting themselves out of contention for playoffs or at least in a difficult position.